I have been accused of not having any foreign policy experience and have the nerve to run for president with no foreign policy experience. And the guy there now does? Policy credentials. But at least as a businessman and someone who has actually been a CEO and an executive, I at least have a foreign policy philosophy. I don't need to know all of the details. We got plenty of experts in Washington, D.C. I at least have a foreign policy philosophy, which is an extension of the Reagan philosophy, peace through strength. That's the Reagan philosophy. Let me introduce you to the Cain philosophy. When he becomes president of the United States of America, peace through strength and clarity. We must clarify who our friends are, clarify who our enemies are, and stop giving money to our enemies. Clarity. We need to clarify who our friends are is so we can tell the rest of the world that these are our friends and we will stand with them, such as our friend Israel. No ifs, ands, buts about it. Clarify our friends. That's my foreign policy philosophy.
We like it.
Part 2 of my foreign policy is I have foreign policy common sense.
Yes.
Let me tell you something that I wouldn't do relative to Iraq. Number 1, I would listen to the commanders on the ground.
Amen.
Isn't that what leaders do? You listen to the people closer to the problem. Secondly, if the commanders said, let's pull out all of the troops, and that the timing was right, I wouldn't telegraph it to the enemy and let them know when I'm leaving. That doesn't make any sense. How much foreign policy experience do you need? I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia. And the area that I grew up in is where my church is still located today. It was kind of a rough neighborhood. And I had a brother. And if my brother and I were coming home from school and a couple of bullies wanted to try to jump me and my brother, well then we would put our hands in our pockets. We wouldn't tell them what was in our pocket. And we'd walk right past them, and we'd say, if you feel froggish, you jump. You don't tell your enemy what you're gonna do. One of my guiding principles has been and always will be, if you want to solve a problem, go to the source closest to the problem. That means talking to the generals on the ground before you make an informed judgment about what we should do when it comes to our men and women in uniform.